masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time. Happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy Halloween, Silver.
Welcome to Gothtober. InObscuria.
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. I am your favorite ghoul, Kevin Williams, and that over there looks just like a goblin.
Zombie.
Or zombie.
Feeling like a zombie.
Robert Harrison.
Yes, I am here in name only.
So you had a lot of fun over the weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I spent the weekend with our friend Captain Ryan camping out in the wilderness, frozen tundra.
Was the pirate ship there?
North Georgia mountains. No, it was not.
No, it was docked.
This habitat was not very hospitable to the pirate ship. The last time that we had the pirate ship at this particular location, we took out the power lines to the neighbor's property. Yeah, Captain Ryan snagged a low-hanging power line with the pirate ship, and so we've
that must have been an electrifying experience.
Yes, it was a de-electrifying experience for the neighbors. They were not happy. But yeah, he declined to bring that, but we brought a whole bunch of other stuff and camped out with, 2,500 of our closest friends. Between that, somewhere in 3,000. I don't know, I didn't count.
Wow. And how many canisters of propane did you take this time?
Let's see, there were 8 100-pound tanks and about 6 20-pound tanks, plus who knows what. That was just what we were using. So
you weren't cold. You were never cold.
Well, the first night I was there, it got down to 39 degrees. And me being the cranky old guy that I am, I have a camper because I don't sleep in tents anymore. I'm getting a little old for that. So I have a camper and I'm thinking, I'm going to be fine. So I go to bed. On top of that, I got 2 sleeping bags. So I'm getting ready for a nice cozy night's sleep. And all night long, it was freezing cold in that camper. I kept tossing and turning. And I actually got up and got another blanket put on top of that. And it sucked all night long. And I was so mad. I woke up feeling like I got about 2 hours sleep total and complained the whole day long. And then that night went to go to bed for the second night and realized I had left the window open that is right by my feet in the camper. But I couldn't see it because the blind was down. So unbeknownst to me, I've been sleeping with the window open all night long. That's why I was so damn cold the whole night.
That will do it. Yes.
It's hard to complain to your friends when you're in a camper and they're in a tent. You're like, man, it was really cold last night. They just want to kick you in the nuts. But it still was just as cold in my camper the first night. So we fixed that problem, and this gorgeous weather. It's at his farm, a private farm up in North Georgia mountains, right at the base of the foothills of the mountains. Absolutely gorgeous. Weather was perfect. Hung out every night.
Do you want to explain what this event was? I know we may have some new people since you last talked about what you do.
If you're new to the podcast, one of my hobbies is going to this thing called Burning Man. And I've been 4 times in the past, 8 years. And I'm pretty good for now. I've taken some time off for that. But they have these regional versions of Burning Man.
Burning Man is in California.
In Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah,
okay.
North Nevada. And it's a big art festival. It's crazy.
Long ways away.
70, 80,000 people. It is a hike to get there when you take stuff out there. It's a hike to get back. It's grueling the entire time you're there. It's trying to kill you the entire time.
All the way across the country from where we live.
Yeah, it's easy if you live out in California. It's a day trip. But for us, it's a hike. But we've done it a few times. Captain Ryan and friends went again this year. He's a glutton for punishment. But he took a huge art project out there. It was rough this year. It was really dusty this year compared to other years. So I'm good. I don't have any urge to go back right now, maybe in the future. But like I said, they have these smaller regional versions of that festival thing all over the world. I'm talking in Europe, Israel, South Africa, all over the world. And we just happen to have one of those about an hour and 40 minutes away from Atlanta. And it's, like I said, it's gorgeous. Instead of in the harsh conditions of the desert, you're in the beautiful foothills of the Appalachian Mountains and or the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's same thing.
And what does one do at this event, Robert?
Anything you want. No murder. We try to keep the murder away in the mayhem.
Keep murder down low.
I took a tiny fire truck and drove around and gave people rides in a tiny fire truck. There's camps, basically. Most people will band together in groups and make a camp, and the camp can have a theme, and so they call them theme camps. And you can have music, you can have food, you can have both. You can put on shows. Our theme is the Funk Pirates because we're all fans of funk music. We've discussed that. We've had episodes on funk rock. You're a fan of it too. Mm-hmm. So we are the Funk Pirates, and we put on kind of a fire show. We had a friend of ours, Jessica, made a foosball game, and you stand underneath this giant canopy of flame, and as you score, the flame shoots up in the air. And so if you score 5 times, you've won the game, and you get an extra little show with the fire. I had a big arch sculpture that I'd made right before that. They had fire on it. Our friend Chelsea made a giant arch.
Yeah.
Hers looked amazing. By the way. I saw the Facebook picture of it.
Hand-forged metal arch. It's really good. She's going to keep adding to it, I think. I brought these flame effects that basically put Kiss to shame. So that's the nice thing. If you've been to any rock and roll show and you've seen fire go off behind the stage, that's the kind of stuff I build. And sometimes it's in a sculpture. Sometimes it's just sitting by itself off to the side. And you can play with those. And so mine was so loud, you could hear it all the way across the other side of the farm every time I set it off. Because I know I had friends that were messaging me. They're like, was that you at 2 o'clock in the morning?
This was not the arch, was it? This was something else?
No. This was just a big flame effect. That was.
Oh, okay.
It's really loud. It sounds like a fart, basically. Of all things, of course, I had to do something like that. But we've done in the past. You have performers that show up. It's just a lot of fun. Most importantly, we have a bar, and so we have this huge scaffolding set up with artwork on the front of it. And we serve drinks. Nothing's for sale, so everything's free. We give away alcohol. Other camps give away food. Other camps make things, and whatever you can. There's just these sound. Some camps have giant PA systems, and they're like clubs basically. So they've got the music going on, and you put all this together, like the 5 or 6 of these sound camps at one time. You get this just cacophony of bass all night long, and so that's kind of hard to deal with. Sometimes it gets kind of old about 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's like, okay,
depends on how much partying you're doing.
Yeah, so I stay pretty sober through all this because I'm playing with fire, and I've always thought about being on the witness stand in case something goes horribly wrong, and the cross examination goes, so Mr. Harrison, so how toasted were you while you're playing with homemade pyrotechnics? So yeah, I keep my wits about me for the most part, but once that's over with, then you can go have some fun, and during the day you can have some fun, and once again, you just do whatever you want to do. It's so nice. It's a lot of work. It's insane how much work we put into this festival for 3 days or 4 days, and then we take it all down, clean up, and
leave
go
no
home.
trace.
Leave no trace. There's no trash. We walk around and make sure every little speck is picked up and leave it the way we found it for the most part. You can see some tire tracks here or there.
Pretty cool. I went to one. You told me I had a good time.
Yes, you had a good time. Kevin finished off a bottle of gin within 20 minutes of getting there and doesn't remember the rest of it.
Not the brightest thing I've ever done.
No, but it was pretty funny. And then Saturday night, it culminates in this massive bonfire, pyrotechnics and flame effects and everything like that. So big party Saturday night, and then you wake up Sunday and kind of pack up and go home. Some people, I think Ryan stuck around till Monday. He had so much to pack up. So
wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's one of these wacky things that we do. It's just a lot of work for 3 days, but at the same time, when you're done with it, you're like, wow, we did that. That's pretty cool.
Well, after you jump through the fire, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, and let me just say a happy 500 episodes to Decibel Geek.
500?
Yep, they just celebrated 500 episodes.
We're like 496, right?
Nowhere near.
Oh, okay.
Nowhere near.
Oh, okay, never mind.
A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, Sean Geek and Fast Fret Podcast, who are getting ready to celebrate, by the time this comes out, it will be their 400th episode. So
that's a little closer to
congrats to them. Oh, yeah, so much closer. State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Podcast, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retrozest Podcast, The Synaptic Empire, and Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us at InObscuria.com. Like us, share us, recommend us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Leave us a review. Oh my God, we got a review.
Well, I got an in-person review.
It's time for our you got a in-person review.
In-person review.
Okay.
Came over to my house and went, "Hey man, I like your podcast." I'm like, "Cool."
Did he go? And that's 5 star.
5 star. I'll ask him next time he comes over.
Yeah. How many stars was that review that you gave me?
Give me 5.
So we actually have a review. This is on Apple Podcast, and this is from W.J. Taylor. So I'm assuming that is our friend Jeff Taylor. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think that's Jeff Taylor, who I tweet all the time. We tweet back and forth.
Okay, you're tweeters.
We tweet all the time. But he says here, it's 5 stars, and he says, I have written a prayer review. Don't know if we read that one, but I love this podcast, and you need to try it. It is different than the thousands of other podcasts out there because it focuses on rock, punk, and metal that the average person is not aware of. Kevin and Robert are great hosts and really pick strong songs to share each week, mainly from his personal collection, which is huge. That's what they say.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, come on.
Take it from an episode 1 listener. You will not be disappointed. I'm at JTNC Rocks on Twitter. That is Jeff Taylor.
Jeff Taylor, yeah.
Yes, that's his handle.
We just confirmed it.
I did confirm it with our team in the back there.
Yes, crack staff.
Thanks, Jeff, man. That is really nice of you to say. And yes, he's been with us since episode 1.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Him and 2 other people.
Now,
us.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, as I was looking for reviews, because it is our quarterly review time, I found one from October 23rd. If you will check tonight, when we were recording, it is October the 19th.
Wait a minute.
Yes. I missed one, I guess, from last year. I found one from October 23rd, 2021, so it's about time. Sorry, Mighty K. This is a great idea for a podcast. I am a total fan of keeping the bands that should have made it big or the bands that made it big but have been forgotten by most alive. And this podcast is doing just that. You're going to do some reminiscing and find new bands to love. Kevin is our host and guide. Robert is our co-host and thought leader. Let's pause.
Whoa,
Let's pause there.
That's just, yeah.
Thought leader. Have you ever been called a thought leader before?
No, this is, wow. My thoughts have left.
These are
because I'm so
these are amazing accolades.
Flabbergasted. I'm a thought leader.
Thought leader. And so here is how it's going to go. Kevin lets us know what the theme of the show is. Kevin gives the cool info on the genre, the bands, the songs. Songs will be played, and Kevin and Robert are going to discuss it all. And you will be entertained. I guarantee it. That is from Mighty K, Kristen Schimbeck. Thought leader. Kristen, really?
Wow.
Really?
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that.
Oh.
Yes.
And you will wear it at the Rockin' Pod next year when we
finally, after all these years,
Thought
I've been
leader.
recognized.
I am thought leader, Robert. Hello, my name is Thought Leader.
I'm going to sign my name that way every time I sign my name. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into it because this is our celebration tonight of
All Hallows Eve.
This is the last of our
We've been building up to it.
October episodes.
Pinnacle.
So as I mentioned last week, I have to pay a lot more attention to the old family crypt this time of year because the ancestors get wrecked.
A little stirred up.
Graveyard parties, I mean, keep us up all hours. Last night I couldn't sleep at all, so I had to go down there.
Was it the bass?
It was exactly what you were talking about. Multiple.
You understand now.
It's multiple parties going on, competing bass in same beat.
Wub, wub, wub,
yeah, just lots of wub wub. So it was in the middle of the night, and I was going to go check on everything. When I open the door and I go down there, nothing. It's just eerily quiet.
Be cool. Hey, here it comes.
So they all, they never invite me to these parties. They just throw them, make a lot of noise, and go down there there, nothing. Nothing. But I did notice a blinking light in the corner. A little red light.
Was it the Pink Floyd Pulse album?
This is what I thought. So I thought, oh, I found it. That's where it was.
I've been looking for mine for a couple of years now.
Still blinking. No, it was, but it was something in a box, and it was a blinking red light. And I thought, oh, what could that be? What do I have a battery in? And so I go and look, and it was my old answering machine from years ago. And it had a message on it.
What was your outgoing message? Hey, everybody, you've reached Kevin Williams. Leave a message.
I'll let you know.
At the tone.
No, I just let the machine do it.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was lazy. I didn't actually put my own.
That's before you had all these audio skills.
Right. So I played it, and I recorded it on my phone, and let's just take a listen to what I think is a very clear sign for us tonight.
You have one new message. Main menu. To listen to your messages, press 1. For first new message. Received today at 2:52 a.m.
Wow, that's a long voicemail.
It was a very long one. I'm surprised it didn't cut off. I knew it was a sign from the spirits, especially since the machine has been unplugged for over 20 years. I don't know how that was even blinking.
Well,
but
it's just like you finding the review from a year ago.
Exactly.
Very, not very observant.
Appears in the ether. So with that, I'd just like to say happy birthday to InObscuria. This is our 3rd year officially.
Nice.
Today is our 3rd year.
Do we get a cake?
There's no cake.
Damn it.
Absinthe for all.
Absinthe. Round the horn.
Just a single glass. I don't have enough to give everybody their own, but don't spit in it. Yeah, so happy birthday, man. We've been doing this for 3 years. Doesn't it feel like 10?
It's many years. It feels many years. Wow, that's insane. We started this right before the pandemic. Not right, but
basically
close before the pandemic.
Close.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I look forward to during the pandemic because there wasn't a lot to look forward to, but you could come over. We were kind of like, screw it. We're not distancing from everybody. You'd come over and we would do the podcast, and we had human contact. It was really nice during that first few months that there wasn't a lot of that.
No.
So that was a really nice thing to have during the really crappy time for a lot of people. Not for me, but for a lot of people.
Well, I know that I've learned a lot in 3 years, especially when it comes to editing, and I'm still trying to work my way through it. But I go back and listen to some of those early episodes. I'm like, ooh.
You've learned things behind the scenes. I've learned things from the actual podcast itself. I mean, my knowledge of music now is, 0.01% of yours, where it was nothing of yours before. So I can actually regurgitate some of the things we've talked about, weeks later. Weeks later.
Almost a week later.
Almost a week later, yes. But look at what we've talked about, goth music, and then all of a sudden I'm building gothic arches and things like that.
The inspiration
Look at the impact you've had.
Yes,
or just the podcast in general.
And we will be going back to the Rock and Pod Expo next year when they have it, so we've got that to look forward to as well.
Just in time for another pandemic to knock it out.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The other thing that clip that we heard on the old answering machine made me think of is the Happy Birthday song. How many versions of that song do you think are out there?
Who gets the royalties, man? That dude's rich.
Yeah. Too bad they didn't trademark that thing. Huh? Copyright it.
I thought it was Barry Manilow. He writes everything.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's Desmond Child.
Every time they sing it, it's a different version. So whenever there's a drunken birthday party, because people always started off too high, and then you got to committed to get to the happy birthday Like, no. You got to start down Barry White territory, and then it's easy to go up to that upper part.
I love how as you get older, when you're a kid, you're excited to sing it.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, it's like all you can do is just kind of...
No, that's the time I am in the other room or going to the bathroom. I can see it coming. Oh, they're lighting the candles.
And we
Let me
still
step
do
outside.
it. We still do it. No matter whose
I don't-
birthday it is, you got to sing that song.
No. You can skip it at mine any day of the week. I'm good. I've heard it enough. Thank you. Just you can wish me a happy birthday, and that's good.
But it did get me thinking about tonight and what we're going to be doing. And I mean, how many covers of the Happy Birthday song are out there? Oh, covers. Ooh. We've done cover shows before, covers from beyond. But what about famous Halloween party songs?
The MASH, Monster MASH.
Are there any obscure versions of these songs out there? That are in the rock and punk and metal world. Sure, there's a ton in pop, novelty, but
Yeah, novelty songs.
So here we go. Episode 149, the last episode of
Gothtober,
a celebration of All Hallows Eve, covers from beyond.
Halloween.
So why don't we just get into it?
All right, what are some of the well-known covers?
Oh, yes.
What are the well-known Halloween songs?
We're going to get, some of these have become Halloween songs. They weren't really intended to be, but they've become that. These are songs that are mostly in the pop music world, songs that you would hear at a party if you were to go to a Halloween party. The first one is a little bit different because we're going to start with a song that takes me way back to my childhood and was one of my favorite theme park rides as a kid. Now, I'm going to not tell you what it is until we play it. Okay, but I'm going to tell you about the band who is covering this. And the band that is playing this song are a pop punk band / skate punk band that were formed in the mid-90s when there were just a ton of these pop punk bands out there. They were formed by a guy named Scott Radensky, and he left another group called 10 Foot Pole, who are a really good band, and then he formed this band called Pulley. Now, the reason he left 10 Foot Pole, they kind of pushed him out, and they said, with the 10 Foot Pole, they pushed him out. They said, we really need you to focus on the band more so than your other career. And he said, well, I can dedicate as much time as I can, but I can't ignore my other career. So he is kind of moonlighting as a lead singer in a punk rock band because he's actually, or was, a relief pitcher in Major League Baseball. So from 1990 to 2001, he played for the Chicago White Sox, the LA Dodgers, St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cleveland Indians, who are now the Guardians. Did you know they changed their name?
No, I don't keep up with that.
Yeah, I guess you can't say Indians anymore, so you say Guardians.
Well, good thing our team's named the Braves. We're good.
I think we're good.
That's not offensive to anybody. That's awesome.
No, not at all.
We do the chop. I love doing the chop. That's great.
Yes. The Atlanta Papoose.
Oops. And Chief Nakahoma. That wasn't
we're next.
upsetting at all.
I guarantee you we're next.
We'll see how long they can hold on to that.
But anyway, he was a pitcher in baseball. He had give you a little baseball fact here. He had a 42-25 record, not bad. 3.44 earned run average. Not bad. And he had 358 strikeouts in the 481 innings that he pitched.
So that's good.
Not bad.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he's not winning any major award, but that's not bad.
I imagine the pay from that's pretty decent compared to the pay in a punk rock band.
I would think so. And his band Pulley, when I looked up, I thought, well, how much touring did they do? They didn't do a lot. They were kind of like playing shows here and there in the off season.
Well, it was a coincidence when they had away games, then they would go do an out-of-town show and then come back.
So after his pitching career, he actually became a pitching coach while maintaining his side career in Pulley. And they've actually had 7 albums from 96 to 2022. They just released one this year. But they did do one major tour. They toured with Green Day, which, I mean, if you're going to tour with a pop punk band,
that's the one to go for.
That's the one to go for because you're going to get a big audience. And so they did that. And other than that, like I said, they've kind of played more local shows to wherever he's living at the time. But a really good band. I actually have a couple of their albums. And just, it's not game-changing punk. It's pop punk, and it's done really well, and it's tight and snappy and just what it should be to be pop punk.
Exactly.
But we're going to play this song, like I said, that takes me back to my childhood. So think theme park.
That was weird. The intro was almost as good as the intros that you make for the podcast. Did
I've
you see
actually
the similarity.
I've used that in the past.
Oh,
for an
have you?
intro. I think 2 years ago I had that that beginning as part of one of our intros.
That reminds me exactly of the stuff that you produce. That's pretty good. And then the very melodic and ethereal vocals with it just the drum beat. I couldn't even try to keep up with the time signature on that. It was so fast. And that's coming from somebody that plays like they've had 3 or 4 hits of meth. But that's me saying that.
I had no
It's too
problem with
fast.
it because I honestly ate a whole bag of candy corn before I came over here tonight.
You need to go run up and down the stairs a couple more times.
Man. Come on. Did
God,
you
that stuff is
recognize?
horrible.
Oh my God.
That's the worst stuff ever. And
I don't understand this. It's so polarizing. People either
Yeah.
love it or they hate it.
Yep.
It's honey, man. It's made out of honey.
My special other loves it. Has candy corn memorabilia. And
I told you need
loves
to
it.
you need to paint
It makes
something
me ill.
orange and yellow and white and have a good night.
Okay, that rhymes, and that's going to be on a shirt too. There's 2 T-shirts I need. Yeah, but getting back to the subject at hand, I didn't understand the reference that you were making with roller coaster.
A man from Florida does not know where that song comes from.
What is it? I mean, what part of Disney World is the haunted house?
The Haunted Mansion. That is the song that is playing from the time you are standing in line until you leave that place.
Well, I have to apologize because I haven't heard that in 40 years, but okay.
It's just ingrained in me. I mean, that was,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little, dorky goth kid. That was my favorite.
So don't get me wrong.
Ride.
I love that too. I just didn't recognize the song. I couldn't hear him saying, "This is Disney World's Haunted Mansion."
That was created in the 1960s.
Okay.
And I believe it was one of the last rides that Walt Disney himself was kind of part of making before he passed, but he had this grand vision for what the Haunted Mansion was.
Have you ever seen behind the scenes how they pull off some of those effects, like the holographic images and things?
It's so cool.
It's really fascinating. My maybe 13 years old, our junior high school marching band marched in the parade there, so we got to go behind the scenes. I think we talked about that before, but walking around, we went there, we rode the ride, and somehow we were goofing around after we left the ride, took a wrong turn, and came up to these glass doors, and we're like, okay, and we pulled on them, they were locked. We looked inside, and there was like these banks of computers or something inside. And I quickly realized we were probably not supposed to be where we were. And I knew that any second now, even at 13 years old, I knew, okay, security is about to show up in 3, 2, and we just like bolted out of there and realized, we'd taken a couple of wrong turns. So maybe on purpose.
Well, that would have been the song that was playing entire time. And they have, I guess the first one was at Disneyland in California, and then they built the one at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And there's also one in Tokyo, at Tokyo Disney. Which I would imagine is a little bit different.
Well, they've opened up a few other Disney Worlds in other places, and they've closed them down.
Paris,
and I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 others. But so Tokyo is still open then.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
And I think they opened one in China like within the last 2 years or so. So there's one in China now.
Bringing capitalism to the uncapitalized.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought we'd kick it off with a little Disney. I know there are people, another thing that's polarizing, either you love or hate Disney, I think.
Yeah, there's maybe some middle ground there, but candy corn, no. It's horrible. Should be illegal. Burn it all, melt it.
All right. Okay, so let's do this. Next, we're going to play a band that we played more recently. They played in our episode 135, Headstones, Inhaling Stoner Metal. And the song that they are covering is from one of my favorite heavy metal horror B-movies. And we featured another song from this movie last year on episode 97. That was Arcane Sounds from The Big Scream. But the band we're playing, like I said, we just played them not too long ago. It's a band from Ohio, and it's a band whose name, when we talked about it before, it's like there's no way you don't know exactly what kind of music this band plays because their name is Dr. Smoke.
That's right. I remember this one.
You know what Dr. Smoke's going to be playing.
Name.
I love this band. So when I discovered them, I found that they had this single out here. And so I downloaded this single. They didn't have it on any physical media, but I downloaded it and I think it's great. And like I said, this is a Halloween classic for like any metal fan or hard rock fan out there. This is something that every person watches almost religiously every Halloween. You will probably know this song as well. Let's get into it.
All right, that was real deep. I mean, they must have spent like 12 minutes on the lyrics to that song. It was just thought-provoking and deep.
Do you know this song?
No.
What? No. I told you last year to go check this movie out.
It's on my list.
Travesty.
I'll get to it. I've been busy.
You did watch the one with Thor.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, jackass.
That was a great one.
Horrible.
Okay.
Wait, and was that wait a minute, the
Rock and Roll Nightmare?
Yeah,
Thor.
that was the same movie. I remember another scene. I'm like, no, that was the same movie. Yeah. God, that was bad.
This movie is just slightly above that one. This was a movie called Trick or Treat. That was the song, Trick or Treat. And that happened to be, the whole album is played by Mr. Fast Eddie Clark from Motorhead and Mr. Dave King, who is now with Flogging Molly. That was Fastway did that entire album for Trick or Treat, and that was the title track.
$50 or $60 from that.
They probably did. What's interesting is that is so much drier than the original recording. You know, that 80s, slick 80s is so wet, so much reverb.
I was thinking that. It was just kind of plain.
That was like super dry. That's the way Dr. Smoke does it. It's real smoky in there, man.
Smoke.
It's going to be dry.
Leave room for the smoke.
So, yeah, Fastway, covered by Dr. Smoke. Love it. And that movie is a 1986 horror comedy film featuring Mark Price, who we all remember as Skippy from Family Ties. And we talked...
Oh, that's when they bring the kid in.
The neighbor. No. He was the neighbor kid that was the friend of...
Oh, okay. Because all those series would bring in another new kid when the kids got too old to be cute. I mean, Brady Bunch did it. Oliver. And yeah, it's just, you knew that it was over when they had to bring in a younger kid.
No, Skippy was a mainstay, man.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I don't remember
It's Skippy. Anyway, Skippy stars in this. He's a metalhead, and Gene Simmons is a DJ. Ozzy Osbourne's a televangelist.
Oh, that's great. Okay. We've talked about that.
Talked about
now
this.
I remember. Okay,
this was a huge rental.
Yeah,
huge rental in the 80s, man. Relive it every year. So if you have not seen that, you got to go see it. I mean, it's about a metalhead who's bullied, and he receives a mysterious demo from the guy who just died, who happened to be from his little town, and he had gone on to be a big, major heavy metal star, and he died, and they were like pen pals or something. Anyway, the whole city gets overrun by this zombie version of this metal god, and he comes back as a demon, basically. So
it happens.
It happens. It's pretty typical story in small
we've
towns.
heard it so many times.
So many times. All right, well, let's move on to the next spooktacular soundtrack. Here's another soundtrack song, and if you don't know this one, I'm leaving the room, because I'm pretty sure you hear this every Halloween.
The door's right over there, by the way.
Ad nauseum. Now, the band playing this, I only know from this particular compilation album that I have. It features the song we're about to play. I have never heard of this band. Their name is Punchline, and I have an album called Punk Rock Halloween, and it's great. It has so many awesome... There's like 20 or 30 songs on it because they're all like 2 minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, but they're all just great, and some are covers, but most of them are originals, just by all these different punk bands. But anyway, that's where this comes from. And so I had to do research because I really didn't know anything about them. They are a band from Pennsylvania formed in 1998. They had 8 releases from 98 to 2018, and they toured with bands like Catch-22, Alistair, Spitalfield, Less Than Jake. So a lot of these bands are kind of in that pop punk ska. They were kind of in that scene, I guess.
No, Alistair, not
Alistair. Alistair.
Oh, okay.
Alistair was the previous version of The Swear,
which is Kevin's band. Yeah. Okay, had to ask about that.
Yeah. Alistair was a pop punk band from California, I believe.
Got it. Okay.
But anyway, I was looking at all these groups. I'm like, yeah, this looks like the running list of bands from that time. And then the last band that was listed that they toured with more recently was the Gin Blossoms.
What?
I'm like, huh? So yeah, they supported the Gin Blossoms when they did their 25th anniversary tour of New Miserable Experience in 2018.
Yeah, and they just, played to about 20,000 people here in our small town of Smyrna, Georgia, which is half the population showed up to that.
Did Punchline play too?
No,
they weren't there?
I don't even remember who opened up for them.
All right, well, we're going to play this classic soundtrack song that has become a Halloween song. And let's see how Punchline does at it.
Is it something strange?
Who's the original singer? Billy D. Williams? Billy Ocean?
No, that would be Ray Parker
Ray
Jr.
Parker Jr. Oh, I'm thinking of the guys in the movie. Weren't they in the movie?
He got away.
Billy D. Williams or Billy Ocean? Billy...
No.
I thought he was in...
No.
I'm getting my 80s songs all mixed up. I'm going to have to study all that again.
None of them were in
No, Ray Parker
Ghostbusters.
made some good moves. He got sued for sounding like I Want a New Drug. For Huey Lewis sued him.
Yeah, so let's go down. This is interesting because let's go down this path here. So the song peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1984. Huge hit.
Everywhere you went, you know it's big when your junior high school marching band plays that song at halftime, which we did. So
Right.
that's how big that song was.
It was number 2 in the UK, so this was a worldwide hit. And it re-entered the charts in the UK in 2008 and again in 2021. So now it's starting to re-enter charts again because they've put out new movies, right? So that every time they do a new Ghostbusters movie, it comes back. It was also, I didn't realize this, it was nominated at the 57th Academy Awards as the Best Original Song. Unfortunately, it lost to Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You.
Which we also did, I think.
For a record for my daughter for her birthday. I just called to say I love you. Do you have it?
Yeah,
Great.
we have it.
Great. Can I have it then?
No, you can't.
Why not?
Well, it's sentimental, tacky crap. That's why not. Do we look like the kind of store that sells I Just Called to Say I Love You? Go to the mall.
What's your problem?
Do you even know your daughter? There's no way she likes that song. Oh, is she in a coma?
Oh, okay, buddy. I didn't know it was pick on the middle-aged square guy day. My apologies. I'll be on my way.
Bye-bye.
Oh, now, there was a lawsuit, as you mentioned, by one Huey Lewis and the News.
And the News.
And the News, yes. Huey Lewis and the News. That's his whole name.
Yes.
Huey Lewis and the News. They said that I Want a New Drug was written first, and you basically stole the bass line. Totally. From that. That resulted in Lewis receiving a settlement out of court. So he got paid.
And that song has made a lot of money.
However, there was some contingencies with that settlement, which is that you can't talk about that settlement. You can't talk about that lawsuit anymore, Mr. Lewis. Unfortunately, when he did his 2001 episode of Behind the Music for VH1, he went into some of the details of the lawsuit that he should not have. And so Mr. Parker Jr. sued him, and he got a whole lot of money out of
dumbass.
Huey Lewis.
You dumbass.
How about that? You didn't know that part, did you?
No, I've never heard that before. How much money could he have saved by going, don't want to talk about it?
Yeah.
No comment.
All he had to say is, I can't talk about it.
Excuse me. Let me count my money here a second while you figure out the next question.
No, instead he had to give that money back to Ray Parker Jr.
Oh my God. All that time. I mean, it takes a long time to go through lawsuits like that and a lot of money.
Well, think about that. That happened in 2001. The song came out in 1984.
Yeah.
So
He litigated that for years and years and just screwed himself with one
lost
stupid
his
interview.
ass on it. I mean, Huey Lewis had a ton of hits, so I'm pretty sure
not
he's
poor,
okay.
But still,
Still.
his kids are going, Dad,
Yeah.
you jackass.
He had to kick himself in the ass for
Oh, man. Okay. But getting back to the song that you played, that band had an uphill battle because it's such a well-known song, number one. It's such a poppy song that it's hard to rock out. So they did an excellent cover of it. I was expecting more of a rockin' cover, like an interpretation.
Yeah,
but it's a good dead-on cover of the song.
that. Yeah, I was going to say they could have totally replaced some of the keyboard parts with guitars,
Yeah.
but they didn't. But I thought it was kind of cool how they were really digging deep with that Moog, like that bass Moog sound. I mean, it was really cool.
Did Huey sue them also?
Probably, yeah. He's not going to get any money from
No,
them.
he's gonna
though.
try.
Yeah, that came out in 2019. I'm pretty sure it didn't do that well.
Oh, God.
Huey Lewis type money, no.
God, I feel bad for him now because I've done so many dumbass things like that.
I knew the
understand
story.
the feeling so much.
I knew that Huey Lewis got
Yeah.
money, but I had no idea that he had to give us some of it back.
I've never seen that, or I've never heard anybody talk. You would think somebody would have talked about that because it's such an old son of a moment that we have all experienced one way or the other. Don't like Homer Simpson's best. Don't.
All right, well, let's move on. This is a song next that we mentioned 2 episodes ago. So go back in the old memory banks. Go back in the memory banks. You're gonna get this one, man. You just said you retain it for at least a week or 2.
A couple of weeks, yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, you mentioned this song, actually, when we were discussing the monsters of Halloween.
Uh-huh.
All right, so that should get your wheels spinning a little bit.
Okay. Kind of remember.
And the band that is covering this song is a sort of punk rock / progressive / metal band. This is a really cool band. They couldn't decide what kind of music they want to play, so they're just kind of all those things mixed together. California band called Strung Out. And I've always wondered why this band's not bigger than they are, but maybe it's because they do too much. But they're very technical. They started off as just like a pop punk band, and then they got more and more technical as they went along, kind of like Coheed and Cambria a little bit, but not quite as proggy. Just a great punk band. They started in the 90s in that whole pop punk scene that was huge, but then they gradually got heavier and more technical. This is a favorite of our boy Jeremy Zamora, so a little shout out to Jeremy. He'll like that we're playing some Strung Out. They've had 9 albums from 94 to 19, and if you want to check out anything by this band, I would recommend starting with Blackhawks Over Los Angeles. The album is amazing. So I'm going to give you a Halloween monster song here. It's one you mentioned. Fairly certain you're going to know it.
Frankenwolf.
Getting close. Getting so close. No, it's
Drackenstein.
Booberry.
God, I love Booberry. Frankenberry, Booberry, all that. I can never.
Did you know they had? So I only knew of the 3 monsters.
The Trinity.
No, they had 5.
No, not in Florida.
There was a werewolf cereal. I forget what that was called. It was like Wolfberry or something. They had a mummy cereal too.
That must have been a special edition or something like that.
Go back to when they first came out. I believe the 70s. They had all 5 of them.
Halloween is coming, and you know what that means? Time to rush out to your local grocery store to get some monster cereal with some of your favorite monsters. Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and the Blueberry cereal from General Mills. Yes, the trio of fright have always haunted the cereal aisles on October every year with their chocolate, strawberry, and blueberry flavors, and bringing back tons of nostalgia, but they always leave out 2 specific characters out of the bunch that nobody remembers anymore, Fruit Brute and Fruity Yummy Mummy. They've been known as the lesser-known monster cereals because of how short-lived they've been. So around 1975, after the trio made their big debut, General Mills decided to introduce a new monster cereal to the mix.
Quiet! I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast. True on you! But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows. Fruit Brute, with a howling good taste of fruit.
In 1987, General Mills decided to reintroduce the monster fruit cereal, this time with a new character.
Count Chocula and Frankenberry meet the Fruity Yummy Mummy.
Hey, have a bite. It's new Fruity Yummy Mummy cereal.
Big, yummy marshmallows.
So monstrously big there. Monster Mellows. With Yummy Mummy Monster Mellows. Fruity Yummy Mummy makes your tummy go yummy.
Monster Mellows in Frankenberry, Count Chocula, and now new Fruity Yummy Mummy cereal. Part of this complete breakfast.
Makes your tummy go yummy.
Frankenberry was my go-to, even though I love chocolate, but I wasn't allowed to have that kind of sugary
Count
things.
Chocula was,
so it was like
probably the most famous one.
Count Chocula.
You could hardly ever find Blueberry. It was hard to.
Yeah, Blueberry. Yeah, you're right. It was very rare. But Frankenberry, God,
Frankenberry was good.
I'd die for some of that right now.
It only comes out around Halloween now. It used to be all year long, but yeah.
Yeah, and when it's 95 degrees in Florida, that's what you want to have for breakfast, a big bowl of sugar.
Blueberry. All right, well, let's listen to Strung Out play something that's a little more metal than they usually do.
All right.
Listen and know and cast and buried him along his shame, and through his darkness so it gone. An empty burning hell, unholy one, but he's returned to prove them wrong. So wrong, under the fucking Bark of the moon! Oh, yeah! Bark of the moon! Oh, yeah! Bark of the moon! Oh, yeah! Bark of the moon!
Damn. Oh my God. That was awesome. That song works really well like that. Never would have pictured that. But I mean, it's kind of an aggressive song to start with, and you speed it up that much. It's just, wow. That was the guitar work in that was really good to be able to play those leads that fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jake Lee could ever play it that fast. And
They had to eat a lot of candy corn.
a lot of candy corn, just snorting it. Whatever they
freebasing
candy corn, man. The room just reeked of candy corn haze.
Oh man,
that was really good. I enjoyed that.
And them putting all those tempos and all those styles into that one cover song is kind of explains exactly who Strung Out are.
They caught me by surprise at the ending where they slowed it down and then brought back
the reggae beat.
Yeah, the reggae beat.
Yeah, so Bark at the Moon, when we were talking about the werewolf, that was one of the songs we brought up. And have you ever seen the video of Ozzy?
The original?
Yeah, the original
Yeah,
video.
it's pretty hokey.
It is. I didn't
it's
realize
early 80s videos.
That was Ozzy's first real video.
Oh.
First one he
Because
ever
before
did.
that, it was just footage of him
He
singing.
never did a performance. I guess he'd only done performance videos up until then.
I'd love to sit down and watch like the first 3 years of MTV, just the videos. None of the blabbering between them, but all the hokey ass flock of seagulls looking stuff that probably cost $400 to shoot the video. Those are the best ones now.
Yeah. Bark at the Moon is actually what introduced me to Ozzy Osbourne when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
My older neighbor, I remember every time I hear the song, I think of my older neighbor, Terry, who I was a Cub Scout, and we had Cub Scouts at my house. My mom was the den mom, is what they call it for Cub Scouts.
She had to make all the snacks.
And she had to like come up with what we were going to do every week. We would show up all these kids would show up at my house every week.
That poor thing.
Yeah. My mom's a saint, man, for doing all that. But she also got our neighbor, Terry, who was a Boy Scout, and she got him, and I guess he got merit badges for helping us, but he was like kind of like another leader with us. I remember one time he came over and he had his awesome 3/4 sleeve baseball tee with Ozzy Osbourne Bark at the Moon on it, and I was scared, yet I was also like, what is that?
Why is he barking?
And he's like, oh, it's this guy Ozzy Osbourne. You guys see the video. This guy turns into a werewolf.
Was it like 82?
Yeah, what was Bark at the Moon? 85?
85. Oh, I thought it was earlier than that.
No, I think it was earlier than that. Maybe you're right.
It's somewhere in there.
83?
Yeah.
Maybe 84.
I knew it was early early 80s.
I haven't looked at my Bark at the Moon album in a while. But him explaining what the video was like, I thought that Ozzy Osbourne was actually a werewolf on stage. I thought that was like his whole getup was that he came out as a... So for the longest time until I really
You
got
kept
into
waiting
the
for him to come out with a beard.
I was like, wait, does he dress up like the werewolf on stage or not? So anyway, that was my introduction to Ozzy, and I was kind of aroused by the thought of this guy, kind of creepy. And my mom, I remember she made some comment like, I can't believe his mom let him go to that concert, to that guy, that devil worshiper.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
Satan?
Yeah, so
also... thankfully, they never came anywhere near my town, so I didn't have to have that talk with my parents about any of those concerts. They weren't within 300 miles of me.
That song actually is frequently voted as one of Ozzy's best. I think so too. I think the riff alone that Jake Ely wrote.
I mean, Crazy Train, all that stuff is great, but yeah, that is a little more, it's just one of the most energetic riffs.
Well, to me, that album was like, recording wise, I like it better. I feel like the Randy Rhoads albums, to me, something with the way they recorded those, they sound a little...
The way he tracked the guitars?
I don't know. Something's tinny about it. I don't know. I don't like the sonics as much. I love the songs, but I just don't like the sonics as much as I like them.
And then by the time you get to Zach, it's just over the top harmonics and everything. Pinch harmonics out the door.
Yeah, I love Zach,
which
too.
I still love. By the way, when he does Randy Rhoads, when Zach does the Randy Rhoads songs, it's really interesting because you get kind of the best of both worlds. He gives it enough tribute, but he can't resist putting in the whoop in between.
And also any of the Tony Iommi, any of the Black Sabbath stuff, he's got to throw in some pinch harmonics.
Well, Tony Iommi, there was a lot more space in there. It wasn't as busy, and so there's plenty of room for all the pinch harmonics. But it's just great to hear them all. It's like a mashup. So I love it when he covers them.
You heard the Zach Sabbath, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's basically it. He's just doing Ozzy stuff with Zach.
He's doing Sabbath.
I mean, Sabbath stuff with Zach accoutrements.
Right, there you go. Okay, so we're going to play another song from another monster. This is another song that we talked about.
Okay, Loch Ness.
When we were talking.
That's not really Halloween. That's all year round monster.
It is, but it's also one that we didn't cover in that episode at all. So think of the ones we covered in the episode. Okay. So this is another perennial favorite for your Halloween parties, even though the song wasn't really intended to be a Halloween song.
Okay.
So it's one that has a title, and so it just gets kind of lumped in, but that's not what it's about. Now, the band who were playing this cover that we're going to listen to was a local Atlanta band that played on the scene with both our band, Big Jack Pneumatic, and with The Swear in the early days. Unfortunately, it's really hard to find any information on them these days. I remember them from back in the day. I remember that I was able to download their EP. I think they shared it with me or something like that. But you go and try to find any information on this band, Linger.
Have you checked their MySpace page?
I checked MySpace. There was nothing. So
Linger.
Do you remember Linger?
No, I don't remember.
They were a really cool band. All I remember is that they sort of reminded me of Radiohead or a Young Muse at the time. And I remember they were a lot of fun to watch live, and that the singer guitarist would always, like his big move was always to be on his back at some point during the show, like playing on his back, just falling over and playing on his back. That was his thing.
Which is kind of fun, but a lot of those places were pretty nasty. I don't want to touch the floor. I mean,
but I don't think I ever saw them where he didn't do that.
That was his
move.
Yeah. I ended up that way a couple of times on accident by tripping and busting my ass, or you hitting me or something.
So I got nothing else for you on this band other than I just remember playing with them and I thought they were cool. So we're going to play this song. I believe you'll know it, but I think it's a pretty damn good cover. 2005 is when they recorded this.
I loved it, except for that absolutely stupid Atari 2600 video game sound effect through the whole damn song. God, I couldn't get past it. It was just mid 2000s. Maybe that was cool. I don't remember that far back, but hey,
the distorted drum beat loop.
Yeah,
whatever that was.
The distorted drum beat loop wasn't as bad. It's just the boop. It was like Pong. Back and forth. Maybe I've just played way too many video games in 1980s.
Yeah, they should have faded that out after the first verse.
Yeah, maybe. I could, like in the intro or something like that, setting the mood. That's cool, but that's all I could think about now that I was listening to it, once I became aware of it. But other than that, it's a kick-ass cover.
How did you do that? My back's hurting, man, when he started going to that guitar and I just went down on my back like that. God, it hurt.
Gotta, lots of yoga.
Wow, I guess
yoga and yogurt. Both of those together. You got to do it together.
It's a combo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously that was a Cranberries song and not really intended for Halloween, but it's become synonymous.
Did the band get their name from their other big hit?
Well, that was what I was thinking of. Is I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, they had a song called Linger also.
Why couldn't they cover that? Bad Company with Bad Company off Bad Company.
Linger
could have been Linger with Linger.
Huh, interesting. And maybe they were just really into the Cranberries. Yeah. I don't know.
But that's a good heavy song, and I probably saw that live. They probably did it live when we played with them at least once. So without the beep boop, beep boop.
Yeah. Well, they probably had. I don't know. Did we have tracks back then? I guess we did.
Not many people. I think a couple of people did. We certainly did not.
No, we never did track. So the 1994 song that the Cranberries put out, that was a protest song. Mm-hmm. So it really had nothing to do with Halloween at all. It was Dolores wrote that in memory of two guys who were killed in 1993 in some bombings. So it had nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever. But you do hear it a lot at Halloween parties just because of the name of it. That song itself, obviously huge. Number one on the charts in Australia, Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Iceland, as well as the U.S. on the modern rock tracks. I remember that one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still being played.
Yeah, that was a great song.
Huge. It won the Best Song Award on the 1995 MTV Europe Music Awards. Mm-hmm. And this is cool. In April of 2020, it became the first song by an Irish band to surpass 1 billion views on YouTube.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
A lot of Irish people.
Now, as of this month, I checked, October of 2022, Zombie has been streamed over 800 million times on Spotify.
But I don't have any other stats to compare that to, so how much is, Stairway to Heaven or something like that?
800 billion times now. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
still a lot.
That's a lot.
Do they get any scratch from streams?
0.0001.
That's what I thought.
Cent on the play.
I have to do the. Let me get my camera. My calculator. Well, that's true. It is my camera.
It is everything, isn't it?
Yes,
Your
it
phone.
is.
Yes.
I use it for social media. That's it. This fancy ass
social
phone
media
that has world at my fingertips. What do? I post stupid stuff on Facebook.
Don't like.
Swipe left.
All right. Well, let's move on. We're going to play an 80s new wave pop cover. You will hear this song
New-wop?
also.
Is that New-wop?
New-wop. Yes, you will hear this at every Halloween bash.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oingo Boingo. Dead Man Party.
You have already figured out exactly what it is. You got it. Yes, we were going to play Dead Man's Party. This is a great punk rock cover of Dead Man's Party. And this band, they are called Tsunami Bomb. And I discovered them that very first Warped Tour that we went to back in 2002. You were with me.
Yep.
And we saw this band play one of the upper level stages. It wasn't the main big stage. They played one of the side stages and they were just awesome. They had this lead vocalist. Her name was Agent M, and they were like just full of energy. And it looked like some of the guys in the band were a little bit older than maybe the rest of the Warped Tour people out there. So these guys have been doing this for a while, and you could tell they were tight as hell. They just were rocking it. It was kind of a mix of punk and ska and even maybe a little bit of metal thrown in. So just really, really cool. But they only did 2 albums. They disbanded in 2005. Both of their albums are great. They have an EP that's great. They did reunite in 2015, but they got a new lead singer, so it's not quite the same. And the bassist is the leader of the band. His name's Dominic Davey, and he actually suffered a stroke at the spring of this year. Jeez. So apparently they're still going to be playing here on October 30th, coming up here. They're going to be playing in Gainesville, Florida. There's a huge festival for punk bands. It's called The Fest in Gainesville, and apparently they're going to play. So Tsunami Bomb will be in Florida on the 30th. Check them out. And let's just play this song.
Walking with the dead man on the shoulder. All dressed up, ready to go. Walking with the dead man on the shoulder. stop with nowhere to go. Walking with a dead man over my shoulder. Don't run away, it's only me. Don't be afraid of what you can't see. Don't run away, it's only me. Don't be afraid of what you can't see.
He is such a good songwriter.
Danny Elfman.
Always loved that. And then goes on does Simpsons.
Well, not to mention he composes every single Tim Burton film ever.
Exactly. Movies and everything else. But it's just funny to go from one end to the other.
Batman, Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands. I mean, any Tim Burton movie, he's the one that's done the scoring, Danny Elfman of Oingo Boingo. And that song itself, do you remember where that was?
Yeah, I didn't know that song until
later.
Compilation CDs, Halloween stuff. I started hearing it, but it was never on the radio stations that I was listening to at the time.
If I mention this movie, you might go, "Oh, I do remember." So they were in the 1985 movie playing that
Weird
song
Science?
"Back to School" with Rodney Dangerfield.
I only saw that on like HBO. I never saw it in the theater.
Oh man, I went to see that one.
No, but that version of it, her voice is amazing. I love that style of voice where it's really powerful, but it's not forced. It's not overly warbly, if you know what I'm talking about, with the vibrato and stuff like that. And she's not trying to do these vocal gymnastics to show off her skills. It was just strong.
Right.
But clean, really powerful.
Yeah, just kind of fluid.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a little raspiness.
Yeah, there's a time for that, but it was just nice to hear somebody that has a strong voice without being overly raspy.
Yeah, she's really cool band. And, back to Oingo Boingo. So it was in Back to School. They were in Back to School. They were the band playing, but it wasn't a hit. Like you said, most of us, even who were around during that time, didn't really know it, even though it was in that movie.
Yeah,
but
you didn't hear it on the radio.
It wasn't until later when it kind of became a Halloween party song.
A cult classic.
Yeah, that it became kind of a cult classic. Now, there was an album of the same name. So they have a full-length album called Dead Man's Party. The songs on it, but the song that was famous on that album was Weird Science. Which is another movie.
Yes. And then that you definitely heard on the radio.
Yeah, most people know Dead Man's Party either from Halloween or from TV placements, because now it's in all sorts of shows that usually revolve around
this time of the year.
Halloween or
checkbook
whatever.
Gets even fatter.
Yeah. Elfman is not hurting financially in any way. All right, so we got to do it. We have to play this song. It's obtained diamond status from an album that is also diamond status.
Is that the top? Is that the most you can get?
You can't get
double
any
diamond,
higher.
black diamond.
Oh, there's only one band that has black diamond.
Yeah.
Now, who is that? Well, I'll tell you what. Hold that thought, because the cover version of this song that we're about to play is done by none other than Mr. Bob Kulick. And where do we know Bob Kulick?
He's related.
From? He is the bald guy that tried out for that band and didn't get it.
Should have worn a toupee.
His brother eventually was in that band. What's their name?
REO Speedwagon.
No, I think it's. Oh yes, Kiss.
You just woke up the dog over there. He's
There's your Kiss connection with a K. Ronnie James D.O.G.
Ronnie James D.O.G. is like, hey man, keep that shit down over there.
Yes. So Bob Kulick, we've talked about him before he passed away. He used to do a ton of these compilation albums where he would just get all of these different artists together, mainly in the metal world, and put these amazing compilations together, either dedicated to a band covering songs from a certain band or from certain other genres, or just, I don't know, there are a ton of them. There must be 20 or 30 compilations that he worked on. And if he couldn't find a guitarist to play on a certain song, he would do it. And that's what happened on this song. So he got, for this particular song we're about to play, he knew who he wanted to sing it. And that was Chuck Billy from Testament.
Chuck Berry?
Chuck Billy.
Oh, Billy. Sorry.
Not Chuck Berry, no. So Chuck Billy from Testament is screaming on this song, and then Bob did everything else, except for, I think the drums are programmed, because it makes sense once you hear the song. Well, let's just play this. We have to. You can't get away from a Halloween party without hearing this song.
Okay, one quick correction. It's evil. It's not evil. The evil of the Thriller. Once Vincent Price does it like that, you've got to do it just like that. So listen to a Michael Jackson song makes me think of
Thriller, Thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. You hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hand and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination. But all the while, you hear the creature creeping up behind. You're out of time, 'cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. There ain't no second chance against the thing with 40 eyes. You know it's Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Night creatures call and the dead start to walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping the jaws of the alien this time. They're open wide. This is the end of your life. They're out to get you. This demon's closing in on every side. They will possess you unless you change the number on your dial. Now is the time for you and I to cuddle close together. All through the night, save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller, Thriller night. 'Cause I can thrill you more than any ghost would ever dare. 'Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer, killer, chiller, thriller here tonight. Thriller, Thriller night. 'Cause I can thrill you more than any ghost would ever dare. 'Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer, killer.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand to face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. No more mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
Several things. Michael Jackson was very talented. He was very weird, and he's very dead.
you hit all of them.
All of those. That's it right there. But he was never scary. And so this song was just silly to me. He was also not intimidating. So the whole bad thing, he'd walk up to you and try to pick a fight by going, hey, hey. Like, no,
Yeah.
just move on, get out of the way. And so,
Yeah, looking back on it now, it's like,
just so silly.
How did he pull off Beat It and Bad and Thriller?
I was old enough to look at it then. At that point, I'm like, no, get out. Just no.
Now, did you, because I think they threw a copy of that album in everybody's home in the 1980s. Did you actually own Thriller?
Oh, no. Nope.
You no one in your house owned Thriller?
Nope.
Your sister did.
Even my
own
older
Thriller.
sister, she was into, like, I don't know, Grease still in the 80s.
Yeah. I have it.
The Cars.
I still
She was
have
into New Wave. I couldn't stand them. I was slightly intrigued when Eddie Van Halen played on
For Beat It.
And I was like, okay, that's cool, but it's still Michael Jackson. But he was so popular that you couldn't deny it. I mean, you couldn't say, oh, he sucks. Well, he sold everything and did everything, like I said, weird as hell. You can write books on how weird the guy was, but
I think I got
talent-wise,
it.
he had it.
I think I got it in the 5th grade for Christmas or something like that.
See, when you're younger, look, you're just 2-3 years younger than me.
Yeah,
I was just at that point where I was starting to really focus on what was cool and what was not, but it was not. And so with this guy's voice lends it a little more credibility to being a scary song. It's not as silly.
You know what's weird about that though? Like that was a metal version of Thriller, and there were no ripping leads on it.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. I was listening to the voice. Yeah.
Like, why didn't Bob? He's a fantastic, or was a
Yeah.
fantastic lead player. Why did he not rip all over that thing?
And he missed an opportunity by not getting Rob Zombie to sing that. How perfect would that have been?
Well, I like the Chuck Billy. He's got a cool voice, but why would they program the drums? I know that's how.
That's what made me
the
think of
original-
Zombie was the programmed drums. He does that a lot. But you're
He
right.
does.
There's no ripping guitars on that. It was a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, it was probably a budget thing because these things were thrown together fairly quickly.
All right, roll tape. Here we go.
But I think it's a cool version.
That
I
is.
wanted to play.
That
You
is.
have
That's
to play
very
that song.
respectable. Yeah.
So let's talk about this song, though. I mean, Jackson. This was the 7th and last single from the album.
Mm-hmm.
That album came out in 1982. Thriller did. That single did not come out until 1984. That's how long it was on the
dominated the charts. Every time somebody would have a song come out, Toto. I mean, how many bands were knocked off number
everybody.
1 by Michael Jackson throwing out a song?
Thriller only made it to number 4 on the Billboard charts.
Well, but think about it. He had kind of...
I bet he had other songs in front of Thriller.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He probably knocked himself out of the rail, or people had already bought everything already. And so by the time it got to the chart, I don't know, people already had it.
So as big as it was in the 80s for those years that it was on the charts, after Jackson died in 2009, it re-entered the charts in digital sales, and it has continued every year to re-enter the charts.
About this time of year?
This time of year, Thriller, the song, it gets, people are still downloading, people are still buying it and streaming it, obviously.
Don't forget, those of us, or those of you out there that are not as old as us, it also had a massive video, 12-minute long video. It was
that
extended.
was a big, and that won all sorts of awards
Yeah.
too, because that was the only one of its kind. In fact, I remember you could rent the video.
It was so long.
It was at Food Lion. I don't know why I remember this. Food Lion, which was like
Piggly Wiggly?
It's a Carolinas based grocery store, and I remember they had Thriller for rent. It was only like 30. It was like a 30-minute. Was a making of, and then you got the video.
Yeah,
and I remember seeing that it was an ad for it. You could rent it at Food.
So
Lion. That's how big.
It's
this
even
was.
more surprising it didn't get to number 1 because the video. I mean,
well, I'm sure the
talked
video
about the
was
release.
number
They
1.
built it up for weeks, and then they had the big unveiling, and then they'd play it every hour
dance.
on the hour, and you had to learn.
You
the
were
dance.
just doing the dance.
It was. Thank you.
See, you even
noticed.
though you didn't.
Oh yeah, even though
you
can't
didn't buy
stand
it and you didn't like it.
Yeah, 'cause
you
all
knew
the
the dance.
Goofballs out there.
The zombie dance.
Yes.
Oh well, I liked it as a
Hidden
kid.
skill.
It's a little silly.
Like
now.
I said, it was silly enough. I had just reached that age where silly wasn't really working. I was looking for the cooler stuff, and when MTV, it just made it hokey.
All right. Well, I have one more song for you tonight, and this is a non-traditional Halloween song that I've picked. You'll know why once I get into it, but I picked this especially for you.
Okay.
Because I think this will have a special meaning for you.
Do I have to dance to it?
Oh, you're going to want to.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is being covered. This is a cover song by a band that we just just talked about back in episode 137 when we were talking about genres from the netherworld. This was a band that was in the cowpunk genre, which is a mixture of kind of country and
I
punk.
remember talking about it. I don't remember specifics, but I remember talking about cowpunk.
You'll remember this band because we talked about a band called Dash Rip Rock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah.
we played a song called Jenny Says, and you were like, that's a Cowboy Mouth song.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, the drummer left Dash and went to Cowboy Mouth, and he took that
the
song,
song
with him and got a big hit.
We both learned something.
But it was a
that
Dash
episode.
Rip Rock song. Now, we talked about kind of some of the other albums that they've done, the fact that their Dash Rip Rock is still around, they're still out there. And we talked about in 2007, they had a concept album, and it was a punk rock opera based on Dante's Inferno. And the name of this album is Hee Haw Hell.
Where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I've searched the world over and thought I found true love. You made another and you was gone.
And
I have been there.
Yeah.
I have been there. It's just south of
I think I grew up in Hee Haw Hell.
just south of Birmingham, Alabama.
But we had a good laugh about that back then. And after the episode, and I was editing it, and I'm like, Hee Haw Hell. I'm just going to have to buy that album. I cannot not buy that album.
Okay, I need to borrow that. I have to hear it.
So, yeah, after we talked about it, I bought it. Robert, it does not disappoint. It contains some great songs, and basically what it does is it covers Dante's Inferno, where he goes through the 9 circles of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And the song that they chose to talk about lust, which is the second circle, they chose a cover song instead of writing their own, and it's just brilliant. And I can't tell you any more until after I play the song, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, I'll have to tell you what okay, before
Get
you
it
play
in your head.
I'm not going to say it on the air, but before you play this song, I'm going to tell you who I think it is, and you
Okay.
can tell me if I'm right.
All right.
I heard a wail soon after that, rising above the sulphur's hiss. You think me loony, but he looked like George Clooney and said,
My name's Ulysses. I spend my time upon the earth, chasing girls all filled with lust. Now eternity long I tug my own thong, while the wind blows brimstone dust.
I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen troubles all my day. He's seen troubles all his day. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised. The place where he was born and raised. For 6 long years I've been in trouble. No pleasures here on earth I've found. The pleasures here on earth is found. For in this world I'm bound to ramble. I have no friends to help me now. He has no friends to help him now. So fare thee well, my old mother. I never ever expect to see you again. He never expects to see you again. For I am bound to ride that northern railroad. Perhaps I'll die upon this train. Perhaps you'll die upon this train. You can bury me in some deep valley for many years where I may lay. For many years where he may lay. Then you may learn to love another while I'm sleeping in my grave. While he is sleeping in his grave. Maybe your friends think I'm a stranger. My face you'll never see no more. His face you'll never see no more. I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen troubles all my day. He's seen troubles all his day.
If Motorhead was a bluegrass man, that's what they would sound like. I love that. Yes, that's
I knew you would.
amazing. That was not what I was expecting at all, but that's great.
So what were you thinking of?
Young Lust, Pink Floyd. 'Cause you said Lust.
Yes.
The Circle of Lust, which is my favorite circle out of all the circles.
It is.
I spent quite a bit of time there.
Do you know the 9 circles of hell? I'll just go through.
I was thinking of a few, but no, I won't name names.
Yeah.
I've dated about 6 of the circles.
So you've got limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, wrath.
Yeah, I've had some wrath.
Heresy.
No.
Violence, fraud,
no
and
fraud.
treachery.
Treachery, that's underrated. You don't get a lot of that.
It's the
these
9th
days.
circle of
It's
hell.
like pirates with
the last
treachery.
one, man.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is a cover song. If you don't know what that was, and if you're like, this is the oddest ending to Gothtober we've ever had, you're right.
We are way off the rails
We're
for
way off here.
Gothtober, but that's okay.
Yes, the song Man of Constant Sorrow is actually a traditional American folk song that was originally, well, actually, I don't know his name. It was published by Dick Burnett, but I don't think he played it. It was played by a blind fiddler from Kentucky, which, yeah, sounds like it.
He wasn't reading the music, obviously.
It was originally called the Farewell Song, but then in 1913, I guess the guy who published it died, and so there was a version that came out in the 20s, and that's when the name got changed to the song. So
what a great
we
movie.
know this song from the movie.
Yes.
Which is a Coen Brothers film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And the whole movie is based on Homer's Odyssey.
Now, what did you think of the movie?
I loved it.
Okay, I had to watch it the second or third time I started getting it. The first time I watched it in just disbelief. I didn't get it. People were raving about this movie. It is the best movie, and I watched it, and I didn't get a lot of the references because I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did the Cliff Notes of Homer's Odyssey, and so I quickly erased that from my memory 20 years before. But then, like I said, the second time I started clicking, and the third time, and that's one of those movies like The Godfather. I don't have working TV right now, but when I used to, if it was on, I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two movies. I don't care how many times I've seen it. I'll watch it, and I'll catch something new. It has just a lot of subtle things to it. It is really good movie.
Without a doubt, it's the best movie that George Clooney has ever been in.
Yep.
He is absolutely perfect for the character he plays.
And he
in it.
completely fooled me in the video of that song. He's singing it. And it's such a well-synced video. I swear I thought he was singing that at first.
Yeah.
Then I realized it was
So
the guy
that's-
from, Jesus.
The guy from Jesus.
Yes. No, the guitar player with Alison Krauss. Timetsky? I'm blanking
Got
on
me
his
on
name.
that one. I don't know. my
Okay,
Alison
well,
Krauss.
he's amazing Americana folk guitar player, singer, and he was the one singing it. And so I knew of him because he was Alison Krauss's guitar player. So she's just this angelic bluegrass singer, country singer, whatever now, that she's still amazing. She just toured with Robert Plant.
Right. They've done a couple albums
Yeah.
together. But the whole movie is set in the
Dan
I believe,
Timensky.
20s or 30s.
Sorry, my brain's lagging about 20
Oh, you got
seconds.
it. Okay.
Dan Timensky.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so in the movie, their band is called the Soggy Bottom Boys, and they go and they cut this song, which again is it's a traditional song. So, but they cut it on the radio, and it becomes a big hit, and it's just a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see
Any
it.
bluegrass band you go to see now will cover this because
Right.
it's still so popular.
Right. The song actually won a Grammy for Best Country Collaboration in 2002. So
nice.
Kind of interesting. I don't know how that works when you have a traditional song. Who gets the money from that?
It just goes up in the air.
It goes to, I guess,
Up to
whoever
heaven.
recorded.
Send it to heaven.
Well, I know this is a very bizarre way to end Gothtober, but it's, Halloween's not just about the spooky. It's about the weird and the bizarre. And
By the way, do you know what movie is
Twilight
number one
Zone.
right now as we speak?
Is it Halloween?
It's Halloween. What year are we?
But it's Halloween ends.
Yeah, right.
And we're about to end the show.
If you believe that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they'll end it. They have no reason to make more money off of that whole concept. They can't.
No reason whatsoever.
They couldn't do it.
No.
It wouldn't be right.
No, after 25 different versions of killing Jason.
Jason is not in that.
Oh,
it's
who is
Michael
it?
Myers.
Michael Myers. Who cares? Whatever. Some weird dude with a
Freddie.
axe
Whoever it
Freddie,
is.
I don't care.
Sideshow Bob. I don't know who it is.
Bob. Hey. Well, that's Krusty.
That would be Krusty.
Sorry, get it mixed up.
Wow, you're really off on these.
I got one of them at least.
All right, so we have come to the end of All Hallows Eve celebration that we have called this year Gothtober.
Hey, Sideshow Bob.
You couldn't kill me if I came in with pneumonia and a knife in my back.
Didn't care for the thwack the sledgehammer made. No worries, I'll just kill him again.
That's why I'm the unkillable kid. Ah, still not dead. Ay, caramba!
We're both going to be sore tomorrow.
And with that, we will see you next time, people.
ya.
Happy Halloween.
It's Halloween. It's Halloween. What's the stuff you love to say? You make me feel like it's Halloween. It's Halloween.
But you